minute. You're not going to tell me that you came all the way from Mexico, Michoacan, jumped the border to build a business, and then the day that you die, your business dies with you. I said, sir, with all due respect, you should have just stayed in Mexico and milk cows for a living and eat some tacos because it's way nicer out there. Why'd you even come to America? He couldn't believe I said it. Guys, don't say that line. That was just me after 2 hours of roasting me. I said, he's dishing it out. I'm going to give it right back, right? He looked at me and said, what should I effing buy in Spanish? He chose a big policy, guys. 2 years later, my client got murdered. I did my baby shower at his house. He got murdered. It was the first time that I walked into a funeral and I saw 2 caskets there and the wife here, who I also assured, and I got on my knees, I hugged her, and I started crying. I said, look, God put me here. Your husband loved you so much that the day that anything happens to him, he wanted to make sure you're taken care of. From that point moving forward, guys, that day, this business came real for me. A few months later, a few years after that, my tío Javier, I was sitting on my uncles, and I want to assure you, tío, I want to assure you guys. He says, you know what, typical Hispanic tíos, bury me in the backyard with the dogs. I don't care. Sure. Literally 2 years later, my dad calls me, your tío's in the hospital. I'm like, who? Javier. I'm like, can we still insure him? I'm like, Dad, his foot is already halfway in the tomb. He said, just try. We go, we give him a forester's plan, final expense. My dad's paid the policy. My uncle dies 2 years later. Guys, with that money, my dad lives in Mexico. We go show up to the family little thing, the viewing, not the viewing, but when everybody shows up that night he died. And then my uncle knows that we're making good money now. He shows up, he says, Mijo, I need to ask you for a favor. I said, yes, deal, anything. He says, he's the oldest of all the brothers. He says, I need to borrow a loan for $20,000 and we'll pay you back in 6 weeks. I said, Theo, I know what he was asking for the funeral, right? I said, Theo, how interesting. I was about to ask you for a $20,000 loan. He says, what? I said, I'm just kidding. Theo, the funeral's already paid for, don't worry about it. He said, what do you mean, who's paying for it? I said, my dad. He says, how much life insurance? I said, oh, sorry, Theo, I can't tell you. We buried my uncle in America, we flew the body to Mexico, and there's all my uncles, there's my tío Javier. He was buried in Mexico because of the forester plan. Tell me our family doesn't need us. So this is about money, it's about people creating opportunity. Guys, I just kept building the business. Wasn't licensed, I kept recruiting, I kept building, I kept training. I said it. I said one day, if Hector and Erica and Marlene say are right about this, and Patrick's right about this, I'm gonna have an amazing life. So when I'm going through the dirt, I just kept on focusing on the business, focusing on the business. My wife decides to get pregnant without my consent. I have no idea how that happened. Right? You look at them long and they get pregnant. It's crazy how Hispanic women are, right? My wife's pregnant. We're working hard, we're busting ass. I want to quit the business. My love, I know you wanted to say something. I wanted to quit the business. I told my wife, babe, I can't do this business no more. I just can't do it, babe. I said, I'm about to have a baby. I can't even provide for you. My love, would you like to tell them what you told me?
Yeah, the day that you were going to quit.
Come over here, baby.
The day that you were going to quit?
The day I was going to quit.
So the day that he was going to quit, I was 6 months pregnant. We couldn't afford my maternity pants. We couldn't afford my bras. Your breasts get bigger when you're pregnant. And he was like, babe, as a man, how am I going to go bring this kid to this world, be in a relationship with you when I can't even afford you guys? And I told them, I was like, look, I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to eat tomorrow, but one thing I'm going to tell you is you're not quitting. There's a lot of people that depend on us, and I believe in you and I believe in this company. So, nope, you're not going to go bartend, because he was going to go bartend that night. I was like, nope, you're not going to go get a job. One way or another, we're going to figure it out, and we did.
Guys, you can send me something. My commissions? Right now? We have an update? I like updates.
Update.
Is it an update already?
Yeah.
It's nice. Okay. We'll talk about that right now.